This might look slightly familiar, but not. See, this is a 1999 Corolla. Well, today he needs a radiator. That's what we have here. And he asked me to check a spark plug. And his spark plugs, while showing a good running engine, are looking very, see if we can focus in on that, looking very worn, very white, and they're chewed down. And you probably immediately notice the valve cover gasket was leaking, because these sills are on the spark plug tubes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they don't just seal the valve cover, that part wasn't leaking, they seal the 4 rings right on top here to keep those from getting wet with oil and preventing misfires. So we started with doing a radiator. We saw the coolant flow was really nice. I had 79 degrees on the top and 77 degrees on the bottom radiator hose here, where my finger's pointing. So we know the water pump was flowing, but we saw some coolant coming out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the D.E. Nichols channel. AutoTheBottom.com. But what inspired me to get you to talk to you today is his radiator fluid is no good anymore. I've already taken the 2 top clamps off. There's more to remove below. I don't even know the details. Whatever. It'll get done. But what's important here is electrolysis, which ruins your engine. And if it was 0.3 volts, it would be really bad radiator fluid or lots of water, because the more water, the more electrolysis will happen, and more it'll ruin it. But his coolant looks really clean. The only reason why he's getting new coolant is because the radiator is leaking and we're replacing it. He's getting a lot of work done today, and I'm in super speed mode. Within 15 minutes that was off, and now I'm just waiting for parts. Now the radiator is going to come off. Okay, so if you notice, using your old one you can figure out where stuff's at. So I figured out the pip cock was on this side over here, but even though it would drain off from there, I went ahead and pulled this off anyway, so that I'd get my splash done down into my drain pan there. I always like to do the top one first. And then when I do the pepcock, it'll drain away down there. And the lower radiator hose is close to the same area, so that'll also catch on the splash shield at the bottom and drain the air away. Next I'm going to concentrate on getting this electronics off. I just righty-tighty that, didn't I? So get the different electrical connections off, get this this one off, and get these, basically get these fan disconnected and slid over. So either it'll come out or it'll just slide over and the radiator will come out. It just depends on the car and which way is the easier way to go. Remember, I only got 4 hours, this light's good. And my work might be longer than that, so whenever I don't need to see, I need to plug it in. In the meantime, I like this hook, but one day this hook suddenly wasn't here. I could swear it was after somebody borrowed it. Ah! This car's so easy to work on because you don't have to take apart the engine to work on it. I'm going to show more than I thought. This doesn't want to come, so what's the next thing you do? You look at your new part. I see we have a connection down here and here, and we still haven't taken off the lower radiator hose, which a lot of people actually prefer over this because it's quick. But sometimes if you're being a tech on flag rate, you're going to take this off kind of hot and it'll shoot everywhere. Don't get hurt, don't make a mess. Go with this and unless you have something else to work on to let it get cooler, then you can run this. I also got to get the transmission cooler out. Get out there and work on something. Hey, is someone staying dirty? You can guess where this bolt came out of pretty well, because about the length of my arm of dirt is how deep I was to the bottom, and I was comfortable on it kind of like right here, except at the base. So that's where that one was at, and I bet the other one's just as deep, but in reverse. Well, anyway, what I mean, I'm not going to argue with myself, is this guy is totally in the way, that line, to get to this. Plus these are pretty hard to get to. From up top I could barely get to this, but go through all that, I might as well get underneath the car. I've already drained from here, so when I take this out, I'll have to be ready for it to drip, but probably no big deal. I need to get the return and going out line. I honestly don't know which is which, but if that was off, this will come off easy from below, which means removing the shield, observing safety. Have yourself a jack stand. I have a habit on this car of only raising one side at a time. I don't like a lot of space. Let me explain why. Underneath the car, the higher I have to reach above my head, the more work it is because I'm carrying more arm. If I'm closer to my body, I can work quicker and not tire. It's the same thing when you're standing in a professional shop and you have a lift over your head. You have it just above you and you're working and you have to dodge a little bit not to hit your head, and that takes practice. Well, at 5'10" and a little lower, I'm actually still hit my head on a lot of things, even if a post is up all the way and down on its first safety catch. But it puts it just barely out of reach, just like how I want it underneath ground. Sometimes I'm unhappy if I lift up both sides of the car, unless I really need to. So I just take one up all the way, and I'll show you my favorite way to lift these Corollas, or Chevy Prisms, is on that bolt. I know, the engineers will tell you, and for liability reasons I suppose you're supposed to lift here, but you know, Steve Robb has commented on it, Scotty Kilmer's commented on it, by having hockey pucks to prevent this from being this bit getting bent. I figure if I just lift up on that bolt, that's the frame. That's what the frame that holds into the engine mount or the motor mount. Get it down on here for safety, and you're good to go. Forgive me if I'm not into perfect visual angles for you, but I'm sure it's 10mm. It always is, unless someone went aftermarket on a replacement. But I've got to get this skirt off on this side. I might not take it off on the other side. I don't use magnet trays underneath much. I don't find the ground rolls away on me like my hands running up above. And they got a zip tie instead of a bolt, so I can't take it off. So I'm just going to set it aside instead. And all this pan will have to come down too. We've got our hose. Now, I bought something really cool made by Lyle Tools. Lyle's a bit of a liar, forgive me. But every once in a while you see made in the USA and the rest of the time made in China, so you just don't know which one you're going to get. But occasionally I'm buying some made in China Lyle tool, thinking it might be USA, but it isn't. So he's changing his transmission fluid while we're at it anyway. And let's get a little bit on my tool here. It looks old, it looks like it needs to be changed, but it only smells a little smoky, so I don't think we're going to cause problems by getting rid of old friction material. Let that tool drain off, and now I have easy access to that. And if the hose hadn't come off so easy, I could have used my Lyle tool set that I have been just loving and adoring. Comes in 5 pieces. Whenever it's baked on and difficult to deal with, you've got hooks galore, short and long, so you can get hoses off. The only thing you have to be careful of sometimes, I poke through. So far I've been lucky it's not been where you won't cinch until I was convinced they were quality and will hold up. Just slide in or tool review in the middle of a repair. 8380. Now I can finally get rid of the box maybe. Made by Lyle. Got it on Amazon Prime. Forgive me if I don't run an Amazon Prime store yet. They canceled my account because I have so few cells. Maybe when my channel's big, I'll try Amazon again, but right now it's a waste of search engine optimization. Alright, that's where I came at first. I learned that way better than cars first. So that's how you break up the sides of the hoses. I just need to take this off, that little bolt that I couldn't get from above, and get the other transmission line, of course, draining. And you could do this when you're changing the transmission on a drop and fill with a pan. A lot of people don't, but you could, and you would change more of the fluid. So it's kind of good that he wants to do the transmission at the same time. He's efficient and smart and naturally puts things together, my friend, Brother Garcia. So, hey, here's the 4-letter word of the day. I'm kidding. Every time you stop charging it, if you're in the middle of using it, it lights up. But here's the 4-letter word of the day. Does it come out? Come. Oh, that's not a swear word. Oops. Okay. Well, I've got the final bolt that I was aware of from the new radiator as a hint. Was the old radiator slide right out? Well, silly. If you take off the lower radiator hose I just mentioned and the other transmission line, it would slide right out. It feels totally loose now. Will it come? Will or come? Both 4-letter words. Because I didn't take any electronics off. All I did was take the radiator fan off of the radiator. And it sure comes out a lot. But it catches on those 2 transmission lines at the bottom. So prying later and it's out. Out with the old. By the way, lay it down like that and it shouldn't drip because all your lines are pointed up except for this one. But that was the first thing that was draining, so there's no way there's enough coolant for it to fall out there. He wanted to learn how to get some work done, but he's still getting parts and this is already going in. Sorry, brother. Get your 2 sheaths off. Actually, I could leave these on. These 2 little protectors. That'll keep it a little cleaner. I'll pull it off when it's at the bottom. And same thing, it's all a matter of getting past those transmission lines and the lower radiator hose point. He asked, hey, do we need any hoses? Do we need thermostats? His engine's flowing really nice. It's exactly the temperature it should be. Slightly cooler than my car, actually. So, and I do need a thermostat, so he doesn't need a thermostat. Plus, I really don't want to take apart everything in here to get to it. I mean, it's just unnecessary. The petcock is catching on the corner, and voila, it's in place. So I can start. It looks like the bolts are identical top and bottom, so I can just loosely get them all in to start, to be sure they'll all start. But I have confidence this is going to just fly back in. This is going to be so easy. And since I know how to flush coolant now, or get the air bubbles out, I'll show you that. It'll be really easy too. Put it exactly where the old one was. Actually, I'm not convinced I had that hose on all the way. There, that's all the way on. Put this exactly where the old one was. Okay. Got these started but not tightened. I'm going to go ahead and pause you. I think the reinstall from the bottom is really obvious. It's just transmission line on the other side of the tongue that holds another motor mount. Lower radiator hose, 2 screws, super easy and quick. And to not be entirely pretentious, 12 millimeter with a normal wrench. Got the new one in, 4 bolts on the bottom, 2 brackets on top. You don't have to ever do any of the electricals. The 2 transmission connections at the bottom, here and here, but at the bottom. Upper and lower radiator hoses in. We've got our spill-free funnel, which is spilling right here. That's unexciting. We're going to heat it up until it bubbles everything out, so we can get that done. I'll accept a little less light because I need to charge that, because lots of jobs getting done on this car today. And got to get everything hooked up here. I've gotten everything torqued. I'll list the actual numbers for that. I just do it by hand. I don't need the torque numbers anymore to not have things still. If you're new and you don't have experience doing things real gentle, I would do it by a torque, but I use my little tiny 1/4 inch, and I do all my gaskets by hand. Not like a head gasket, but a valve cover gasket's fine. He came in clean. Now his stuff is all dirty. Oh well. I guess I'll have to clean that up a little bit to be good presentation. Got these tool bolts last, and these bolts will surprise you. They have their own gasket. I didn't use any sealant. I've just never had it leak. I know they say to use it in the corners, and I do that on cars I don't know, but I know on my car, from my car to this car, that it works. Okay, so I don't use any sealant, and I don't get any leaks ever. Okay. Okay, so we've got to get that done. Put a new air filter in, because the old one was filthy. Changed out the spark plugs. Told you about those. Transmission fluid's out. He's going to go get a nozzle so he can put some quarts in. I know it's more than 2 quarts if you just drop the pan, but the reason why the transmission got brought up is because the transmission fluid loss that you experience that's in the radiator. I don't know how much. I know it's not a lot, but we are over prepared. We've got plenty. Okay, so I tend to buy things at AutoZone. I don't like Valvoline. Sorry, I had one bad experience on the expensive product, and I never came back. So long ago, it was on a '94 Escort. They're probably a fine company. I apologize. I'm just being honest that I usually don't. But they're the only ones that at AutoZone sold the transmission Dexron 4. It's for Toyota. Okay? But they don't make this anymore. I mean, they have this Castrol import multi-vehicle that says it's for Dexron 4. I don't know if I'm pointing it right. I read the fine print. Yeah. Type 4 for Toyota and Lexus. So I guess there is still ways to get the older 4, but 6 is backwards compatible now. 4.4, and it's $1 more, so he wants me to use this stuff first, and then we'll put these in. He went and had a little fun. He bought some Z-Max. Oh, look. Oh, my gosh. Clearance. Yeah, I probably would have bought it too, even though I barely touch the stuff. I wouldn't say whether I do or don't believe in it. It's just, it made my '94 Escort so fast, I ruined it. I broke the springs on high-speed turns. I had some fun. Okay? I was young. It was my second car. And Z-Max made it a lot faster. When I put this stuff in the transmission, when I changed out my manual transmission fluid, the car just took off on me, and I had so much fun with it that I broke it. So, even though I think it's a good product, all it is thin, like a paraffin? That might be the wrong word. Correct me in the comments. But it's some kind of oil. So yeah, if you got a Toyota, and you like this older vintage Generation 8 Toyota or Chevy Prism, back then they made it as a Dexron 4. but 6 is backwards compatible. If you can still find 4, it'll save you a little money, but honestly, you'll just be fine as long as you stay within manufacturer recommendations. In this, because it can make such a big difference, and I worry about whether the car will survive that, I suggested that he just use a little bit. Because I've used just a little bit before and gotten tremendous results. I never had the guts to take their really big bottle and dump it in my engine. I think it would have thinned things out too much. I don't know. I have trust issues with that. I usually go straight, but he wanted it, and I've had a good experience. And this transmission did have pretty dirty fluid. It hadn't been changed in too long. He hasn't owned this for very long. So I'll put it in there, and it'll clean things a bit, but I don't think it'll be overly aggressive, and I told him it'll last a few times. I just got to remember to put all of his hoses back in place. Get out there and work on something. Hey, is someone staying dirty?